Oh, hello and welcome to the final vidcast of the year 2014. Hasn't been a good year really, has it? Apart from a few partial victories at the end of the year, such as a new era of state and the poor doors thing, which, as I say, have ended in partial victories, which is very good and kind of a morale booster. But then there's everything else to be getting on with, isn't there? And there hasn't been any victories there. I'm not going to do a forecast for the year 2015 like I did for the year 2014, which I do believe was mostly accurate, if I could be bothered to watch it again, which I haven't. The thing that's big in the headlines at the moment, of course, is the paedophile story. It's turned out a bit like a TV 6-part TV series, absolutely unbelievable conspiracy type thing, with witnesses being murdered, but still no names. And until the names are splashed over the front page of the Sun and the Daily Mirror and all the papers, then nothing will be done about it. The entire political establishment knows, that's the editors of the papers, all the politicians, they know the people involved, but still we get no names. Because if we did have the names, there might be trouble on the streets. And I hope to God that there is. And I hope to God that these people get what's coming to them. I hope that they never even come to trial. I'd like to see them hanging off a lamppost, to tell you the truth. And I'm not advocating violence or anything like that, but that would be the fate that they would deserve after what they've done. And imagine, some of them are still, according to the news headlines the other day, serving MPs. Making laws, telling us what to do, making our lives a misery, pontificating to us about our sexual mores and talking about how anti-drugs they are and the feckless poor and so on and so forth. Well, to hell with them. And I hope that this scandal really does break as soon as possible before the election and is not kicked into the long grass with some inquiry that will just skirt around the issue, as they've been doing for the past few months with the Butler Schloss and the other swivel-eyed loony establishment person that they had, Fiona, whatever her name is. The big story of 2015 is going to be the general election, a dirty, filthy election that will be fought with no holds barred, with UKIP and the Scottish National Party insurgent, although they're not going to get too many seats, but it doesn't really matter because millions of people will vote for UKIP and it will skew the result. Hopefully we'll have a hung parliament and they won't be able to govern. Already in the newspapers they've been saying there is a possibility, like there was in the year 1974, of 2 general elections. So the Conservatives, clever bastards that they are already saving up for election number 2 in the year 2015. There'll be no fixed parliaments there. If they can't rule us, then they are in deep, deep trouble. And I hope that they are in deep trouble, but not just because of hung parliaments, but for other reasons as well. We've let them off. They've got away with it. We haven't done anything about it. Our situation, and the situation for millions of working class people and also for middle class people, is that of total and absolute fear and insecurity. I think this explains the UKIP vote, really. There's been no sort of surge on the left, but I'm kind of glad about that because it leaves a sort of open goal, if you see what I mean, and hopefully we won't be encumbered by the left. So election, they're going to do a lot of coverage, as I say, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 a week, and that will enable me not to ramble on for too long, as I always do, but to get it down into neat little segments that are far more watchable. And as I say, I will be covering the reasons why you shouldn't vote, but also why voting is rubbish, and looking at all the claims of the parties. Again, thanks to everybody that's tuned in. I hope you continue to tune in, and I hope more people continue to tune in. I'm sorry, but I don't reply to anything, whether it's positive or negative. At the moment, that's just the way I am. I am hoping, as I said, or I've hinted at in the past, that maybe I will meet like-minded people. If you want to find me, you can find me. It takes an effort, but you will. I will meet like-minded people, and we maybe will be able to create some sort of alternative, because if things kick off, then we're really going to need an alternative. And I don't see any alternative with the left or the anarchists or anybody, the activistas or anybody. It's up to us and people like us to do it. And when I say people like us, I mean angry working class people, the very sort of people that have been a new era tenants, and also the people at the poor doors. People like that. There are millions of us. It's about time we got together, and it's about time we did something about the situation. So I shall wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Notice the seasonal lights in the background. And you will hear from me in January, very early in January, and you will hear from me more often. And let's hope we all meet up, and let's hope we do something about this situation, because I'm damned if I can stand it much longer.